Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Friday, January 14th, 2022. And we begin with an Australian teen's first rescue as a lifeguard turning out to be a kangaroo. The little marsupial had hopped its way onto large sea-facing rocks on an overcast, choppy day in New South Wales. 17-year-old high school senior and rookie lifeguard Lillian B. Young believes the roo was so focused on avoiding beachgoers and fishermen that it didn't see the coming waves. The current swept it off the rock, and the growing crowd of looky-loos kept the frightened animal from swimming in. While another guard made space on the beach, Lillian grabbed her board, got behind the kid, and guided it to safety and cheers. The kangaroo also seemed appreciative. Lillian says it hopped into some bushes to catch its breath and then just sat there a bit, maybe as a thank you. At long last, there's a glimmer of hope on the COVID front. Cases seem to have peaked both in England and on the east coast of the U.S. and might soon be on their way back down. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Omicron surge here is closely following the pattern in South Africa, a steep and dramatic rise followed by an almost as fast nosedive. In fact, a health metrics professor at the University of Washington is actually pinpointing the peak. Ali Mokded says the U.S. will top off at 1.2 million cases per day on January 19th, which is next Wednesday, then start to plummet. In the meantime, President Biden says he intends to make masks free to the American public and has also ordered 500 million more test kits to be sent to homes. Details are due out today. What do you do when you don't like the way hot dogs are made? You make them yourself. Rapper Snoop Dogg made quite a stink a few years ago when he witnessed the process on Jimmy Kimmel Live, got visibly grossed out, and promptly announced he'd never eat them again. Fast forward to today, and the business-savvy singer is reportedly making plans to roll out his own brand, presumably with a more appetizing backstory. What will they be called? Snoop Dogs. He's filed for a trademark on the name, much like he did when he ventured into the ice cream world with Snoop Scoops. That dish went cold, though, and never made it to market. A winter wonder has returned to Maine, bringing with it another round of international attention. The attraction, a massive spinning ice disc, smack dab in the middle of the Penobscot River in Westbrook. The 100-yard-wide disc drew fans from around the globe when it first appeared in 2019. It also partially formed in 2020, but didn't show up at all last year. The current has to be just right, and a vortex must form under the ice. But even with perfect conditions, discs this size are rare. City officials are enjoying the publicity, but say the phenomenon is a perfect example of look but don't touch. The ice isn't thick enough to bear weight. Maine's winter wonder might be followed by a winter wallop. New England, south to Georgia, and as far west as North Dakota are all bracing for a massive winter storm this weekend. Up to 1.5 feet of snow, along with ice, wind, and rain, are expected to begin today and last several days. The Weather Channel has nicknamed the storm Izzy and predicts it will make travel miserable for tens of millions of Americans. Also in the crosshairs, Saturday night's NFL playoff game between the Bills and the Patriots. At Kickoff in Buffalo, New York, the temperature is forecast to be in the single digits, with wind chill in the minus 10 to 15 range. If that's the case, it'll be one of the coldest games ever played in Buffalo, and one of the coldest in NFL history. And that's it for KidNuz this morning. Now, our KidNuz quiz. What is the date one health professor believes COVID infections will peak in the U.S.? Next Wednesday, January 19th. An Australian teenager's first rescue as a beach lifeguard turned out to be what? A kangaroo. Who might be getting into the hot dog business? Snoop Dogg. What nickname has the Weather Channel given to the snowstorm barreling into the eastern third of the country this weekend? Izzy. In today's KidNuz Kicker, a Florida tween not only has a great fishtail to tell, he also now holds 2 world records to back it up. 12-year-old Nicholas Fano was casting in a creek near his house back in October when the big one pulled on his line. Nothing was biting all day, so Nicholas was surprised when such a humongous Jack Crevalle came by. He struggled to wrangle the fish because the rules state no one else can touch the pole. After a brutal half-hour battle, Nicholas got the jack out of the water long enough to weigh it, take a picture, and pluck a scale for evidence. Then he released the 58-pound, 8-ounce beast back into the creek. The International Game Fish Association bestowed the young angler with 2 awards, the Junior World Record for Biggest Jack and the Men's World Record in the 50-pound class. Before we head out for the weekend, we want to shout out our teachers, starting with Mrs. Wright at Headland Middle School in Headland, Alabama, Ms. Swanson and her Spartans at Valley View Intermediate in Germantown, Ohio, Mrs. Higbee at Romulus Central in Romulus, New York, Mrs. Finch at Bridge Creek Intermediate in Blanchard, Oklahoma, and Mrs. Bro at Aces Mill Elementary in North Haven, Connecticut. Thanks for listening, everyone. For those who've donated to KidNuz, we want to thank you. And for those who haven't, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to help us stay on the air and ad-free. There's a link at the top of our website at www.kidnuz.org. Our team is taking Monday off to celebrate the holiday, honoring civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. So we'll see you right back here for more KidNuz on Tuesday morning.